Guys, welcome back to today's podcast. I'm really excited to speak into this topic. We're going to be diving into how you're not lazy, but you're just numbed out, and how this is your body trying to keep you safe. We're going to talk about all things around lies that we've been sold, the psychology of numbness and how that shows up, what this actually looks like in business and life, so you can actually identify, like, is this where I'm at? Is this not? And what your body is actually trying to do, so that we can actually lean in and address it with this openness and curiosity without making anything wrong. And then I want to go into and leave you with, how do you actually begin to feel again? And how do you actually start to create that safety within your body? So if you've been waking up feeling tired and exhausted, even though you may have had those 8-hour sleeps, and you may have been meditating and journaling and doing all the things, this may be your sign that it's actually not to do with, it's actually got nothing to do with mindset. And no amount of mindset or positive thinking or affirmations is actually going to sustainably and long term move you through this feeling of just constantly being tired and exhausted. But it can also represent in different ways, right? It can show up as just feeling like you've lost your spark and you've lost your excitement for life, or maybe even excitement for business. And when we lose that connection to our sensation, to our feeling, then that has a knock-on effect in terms of then not feeling excited about other things that may be going on in life and business, relationships, and so forth. So that sensation in the body is really where it begins. And the sensation of the body and feeling safe to actually feel is what actually creates magnetism, right? Magnetism isn't a mindset. Magnetism is a nervous system that is safe and regulated and feels really grounded. So those are some little signs. Why laziness isn't real, or that term laziness isn't really real if you're a high achieving woman, because you're more than likely highly functioning, but still feeling exhausted. And so if your nervous system has been in survival mode long enough, eventually your body does pull the brakes. And for so many women, this can look like chronic fatigue and adrenal shutdown, right? When your adrenals are just shot and your nervous system just gets to this point where it literally puts the brakes on your body. For other people, your body can shut down in other ways. So this could be like continuing to get ill month after month, or something will really wipe you out. For me, it also showed up as shingles, which made me bedbound for 2 or 3 weeks, right? So the body will reach a point when that nervous system is triggered in survival, where you can avoid and pretend for so long until your body will literally shut down. And this can be when your body actually then goes into a freeze or fawn response. Fawn response can be very much when you feel incredibly tired and drained the whole time. And it doesn't matter what you seem to do, how much meditating, how much journaling, how many green juices, how you may be doing all the right things externally, right? Because all of those things are external to your internal world. Meditating, maybe not so much, depending what meditation you're doing. And so even though you may be doing the things that you feel like should be supporting you and should be making these changes, you may still feel like you're not moving any further forward on your journey of actually really reclaiming the energy, the excitement, the joy, the bliss around the business that you're creating, the clients that you're serving, and that feeling of feeling inspired by life, not just going day by day by day, feeling like you're living the same day every day, right? So again, this can show up like you're still working, you're still showing up, but your body is shut down emotionally. And this isn't burnout from doing too much, but it's actually burnout from holding so much for so long. So what we know to be true is that the body stores and holds everything unless we give it space to process. Now, we're not born understanding or knowing how to process things. So it is natural that you may feel like that is just like a whole concept in itself that feels like a huge question mark around how to even dive into that and how to even begin to process. Because when your body has been holding too much for too long, its coping mechanism or its signs is going to affect you in some level, whether that's this inability to really access or connect with your emotions or the emotions of others, right? Just feeling like I am at my capacity emotionally. I feel shut down. I feel shut off emotionally. I feel physically numbed out. That is because your body's been holding a lot that has not been processed. And so it's like imagining that there's a cup and you're filling it with water and the water is just overflowing and the water is just pouring out all over the table and it's just everywhere. Like it's going to get to a point where there's just this feeling of you've maxed out. You've maxed out mentally, emotionally, and maybe even physically. And if it gets to the maxed out physically, then that's when you can really experience things like chronic fatigue, burnout, adrenal fatigue, so forth. So in business, it can feel like feeling really disconnected from your clients. It can feel like you're really uninspired or just not feeling the direction that your business is going in. But in life and business, this can also feel like feeling really disconnected from your partner, from your relationships that you really care about. And it may show as just wanting to be in isolation, right? Just wanting to self-isolate. And you may just feel even flat, even after experiencing a really successful launch, for example, or something that you know is worth celebrating, and yet you just don't feel anything. And it can also show up in business where you feel just stuck creatively. And you may be showing up and doing all the things, but it's almost like watching yourself from an observer's point of view. Like you're not really feeling like yourself. And so ultimately, it's your body protecting you, right? It's protecting you from really going there because it doesn't feel safe, because it feels like too much. And so ultimately, it is a protection mechanism. And so numbness is ultimately a shield your nervous system creates when it doesn't actually feel safe to feel. So as I spoke to yesterday around how we cannot numb out one emotion without numbing all emotions, it's first really getting clear on how do you show up in your business? How are you showing up as a leader? Do you feel fully embodied? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel stable emotionally? That stability is so important when it comes to being able to hold that energy long term. Because in business, there are many ups and downs, and I'm sure you've already experienced this. And if you allow your emotions to roll with the ups and downs, you're going to be on this massive roller coaster. And if you can't regulate your emotions and your nervous system, then you're always going to feel like you're at the whim of external things that will come your way out of the blue, because that's how business is. Business is unpredictable, and it can feel uncertain, and it can feel like challenges and obstacles are constantly coming your way. When you have a really solid, grounded nervous system, a challenge and obstacle can come your way and you kind of feel a little bit excited about it, because you're like, ooh, this is a problem I get to solve. And you love finding a way and figuring it out and staying open and staying creative, versus getting hyper focused on what is not working, what is not right. And then that energy filtrates onto all of your team. And then it's like when you have a team, it's like putting 10 times more momentum behind anything, good or bad, right? Because you've got other people who are informed by your energy, and you as a leader is leading that and is affecting and creating that main energy. So when your nervous system is not regulated in business, the team ultimately can end up mirroring these ups and downs, these emotional roller coasters that you may be experiencing because of external things coming away. Now, I am going to preface this and say there may be things that you get to implement in your business that actually do support your nervous system to feel safe. Maybe that's doing, maybe that's actually hiring an accountant so you feel like you're on top of your financials. Maybe it's doing forecasting. Maybe it's actually reviewing what's been working, what hasn't been working, what worked in the past, and are you still doing those things? What you say you want in business, are you actually taking the aligned action to do it? Or are you busying yourself with actions that actually are not going to move the needle and are not that important for you personally to be doing? Can you delegate it out? All of those things, yes, it does get to be a bridge. But ultimately, if you are so stuck in that and unable to really tap into your emotions and your nervous system and regulate yourself, then when something comes up, you can get triggered into survival. The survival mechanism is going to laser in on the focus of there being this or that, when ultimately, if we can really regulate our nervous system and come out of that survival mode, what it allows our brain to do is create limitless possibilities. It allows the mind to actually stay really open and curious to unlimited ways that we get to actually lean in to a challenge in the business that comes our way. So really tactical ways that you can start to really support your nervous system is maybe as simple as making sure that you are fueling yourself throughout the day. So just as you have your schedule and regular cadences in your schedule, so too do you get to schedule in things like breath work. So too do you get to schedule in when you're having your meals and your hydration and your walk outside, and know how your body responds to different physiological shifts. For example, are there any meetings that you can take walking versus always sitting down in front of a screen? If yes, prioritize that. If you know you're most creative in the mornings and that's your time to create, then honor that and don't have any client calls or team meetings during that time. So when you're really connected with your nervous system, you start to understand your own natural rhythm. You start to understand, oh, this really works well for my energy. This feels really supportive for my creativity. I feel amazing in my body when I do this, 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 and this. Fueling your body regularly is something that I highly recommend to start doing. So many people I begin working with, they're always eating, rushing, grabbing random things on the go. And it's like, do you leave your business success to randomness? No. So why would you leave your energy and your focus and your clarity up to just randomness? We don't, right? It is about strategically placing them, honoring them, and seeing them through on a day-to-day. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Nutrition gets to be super simple, and it's something that I help my clients with all the time. Actually giving yourself the nutrition to actually fuel your energy, fuel your focus, and fuel your capacity to feel really supported and grounded in your nervous system. Now, the other thing that you can do that is really powerful is creating like somatic cues for safety. So this can be a muscle activation, this could be a breath activation, something that you're anchoring in for safety, that you can do in any moment that can reactivate that sensation for you. And ultimately, it's beginning in a position where you are observing what knocks you off your center, what activates you into survival. First, that awareness piece is everything. And I just want you to audit throughout your day. Notice, when does my energy dip? When do I start to feel like I'm losing focus or clarity? Where do I feel like something takes me off my center, or maybe someone takes me off my center? Now, this isn't about blaming someone else or not taking that full responsibility, but it's simply bringing awareness around that. And it's not going to be about avoiding those things, but it's going to be like, okay, I know that when I go into a meeting with this person, I can get slightly off my center. Okay, when I'm in that meeting, I'm going to focus on being in my own center. I'm going to focus on sensation in my body. I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to focus on being really present. And I'm going to go into that meeting from this openness and curiosity without any stories or any attachment to any outcomes. And I'm just going to observe, and I'm going to be in the body, and I'm going to ground in, and I'm going to notice what activates within my body throughout that time. And I'm just going to allow that to be, and I'm going to be present with it. That in itself is so, 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 so powerful. I'm going to leave it there for tonight. But sending you so much love. Let me know what takeaways you have, any questions that you have. I'm here to support you. You can always DM me on Instagram, simonewhiteman.co. And I would love to chat and hear your experience of this as well. How is this disconnect, this numbness affecting or showing up in different areas of your life and business? And we can chat from there. Speak tomorrow. Bye.